Alright, so our shallot white wine butter is setting in the fridge. What we're going to do next is we're going to work on what we're going to put in our little pouches for our fish. So of course we're going to do our tilapia, but aside from that, let's work on our other vegetables. So we want to add vegetables that have a lot of flavor to really add to the fish, since by itself it doesn't have all that much flavor. So our first vegetable, some red bell peppers. I went ahead and I have one red bell pepper, and I julienned the bell pepper, which means to just cut into thin strips. So that's what I've done. So we have one red bell pepper, julienne right here. Our next vegetable is a leek. It's kind of funky looking. Don't know if you've seen it. It's in the onion family, so it tastes a lot like onions. So when we put it in the pouch, it's going to add a great onion flavor. So when we cut into the piece of fish, we have that nice oniony flavor from the leek. But the way you tackle this leek is, first of all, it can be really dirty on the inside here. So we have to clean it really well. That's the first thing. The second part is, we're not going to eat this top part. We're just going to eat the bottom. So that'll help us in our cleaning. So I'm just going to go ahead and slice off the top. And though it may be funky looking, it's at Publix, next to, the green onions over in that section of the produce. I'm going to cut off the top. Cut off the bottom. Throw those away. Now what I'm going to do next, I'm just going to slice it down the middle, top to bottom, so we can really get in there and clean it. Make sure I get all the sand out that may be in there. So, I want to make sure you clean it thoroughly. So I just have some cold water here. I'm going to rinse. And you see, it's in folds here. There's many different layers. So as I'm washing, I'm going to try and peel back each layer so I can really get in there. Alright, so I have my leeks all washed. I dried them off also, just with a paper towel, pat them down. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to julienne them, thinly slice them. So I'm going to hold them like this, vertically, put it on my cutting board, and just run my knife from top to bottom like this. It can be a little tough to cut since it may be a little hard, so just put some effort into it, some elbow grease. So you'll be making thin little strips like this. That. Alright, so I have all our leeks sliced here, julienne. So they're nice little thin strips here. And just to make sure they're really clean, I'm just going to put them in this colander here. Rinse them out one last time. Alright, shake them dry, that should be good. I'm just going to add them right to our bowl with our red bell peppers. So the reason I added them together in this bowl is because we're going to add just a little bit of vegetable oil, salt, and pepper, so that when we add them to the pouch, they'll have a little bit of flavor in there from our basic swag seasonings, and they'll be held together a little bit by our vegetable oil. So I have some vegetable oil right here, and the reason we're not using olive oil is because we don't want the flavor from the olive oil to be too overpowering, so we use vegetable oil for our vegetables, so we can let the flavors of the peppers and the leeks and the fish really shine through. So I have my vegetable oil here, just a few drizzles here, just enough. And then I'll combine them here. Alright, swag. A little bit more of our swag seasonings to our vegetables here now. As I was saying, got flavor in here right from the beginning. Just a little bit. Then we'll stir this up again. So if you look here, already we have some great colors going on. It's like green and red. Looks beautiful already. And that should be good. Right, next, let's bring out our fish. So as I was saying, we're using tilapia. One tilapia fillet here, cooking for myself. So tilapia is a really delicate fish, so especially as we're going to steam it in our pocket in the oven, it's going to be really, really, really tender and moist when we cook it just right. Okay. And before we do anything else, we can go ahead and make our pocket. So this is a fun part. You kind of get to incorporate some crafts in the kitchen. This aside. That's kind of cool too. So we have some parchment paper here. Valentine's cards in elementary school when you made the shape of hearts? Exactly what we're going to do here. So if you're cooking it with someone you love, you can have them come help you and make hearts for them. So I folded it down here. Now what we're going to do, just like you're cutting out a heart for Valentine's Day, cut in this shape of a half heart. Like this. Alright. So then, when you unfold it, you have a whole heart. Well, kind of. That's why I stick to performing arts and not crafts. So this will do though. So we have our nice pocket here. Next, we're going to go in, lay. Here's some tongs for my fish. Make sure you don't use these for the vegetables. You don't want to cross-contaminate. What we're going to do first, we're going to take some of our vegetable oil. We're going to spread a little bit on the bottom of our heart here. Get it nice and smooth again on both halves. A little bit of vegetable oil. Alright. Now what we're going to do first, we're going to get our vegetables, our bell peppers and leeks. We're going to put a few pieces. If you're a big veggie fan, if you're a big fan of peppers and leeks, you can add more. But I'm just going to add a good amount here, right to the middle of one of the halves. We're just going to fill one of the halves so we can fold it over and it makes a nice little pocket. When I come in close here, you can see what it's looking like so far. That should be good. Looks good. Alright. Then we take our tilapia fillet here, fresh from the supermarket. Not fresh from the sea, but pretty fresh from the sea. Lay that right in there. Then, again, we want lots of flavor in here, so hit it up with our basic swag seasonings. One last time, some salt and pepper, such as salt and black pepper. Alright, good. Then, remember what we did earlier with the butter? That's what we're going to take from the fridge and add right on top. So let me grab that. Got it right here. Alright, so I went ahead and grabbed our butter from the fridge. Again, this is our shallot white wine butter. So lots of flavor packed because it also has some parsley and some salt and pepper. And this is we're gonna put a slice right on top of the fish, so it's gonna melt right on top, and it's gonna be all delicious. So I'm gonna take a nice slice here. So it's almost like a little fat coin here, a little medallion, flavor packed. Put it right on top. And then, when we're working with fish, a lot of times we want a lot of freshness in there, acidity to cut through the fishiness. So that's what we're going to do when we add a little bit of lemon zest and lemon juice. So, I have a little grinder here, or you can have a zester, whichever one you have. I have a lemon here, I sliced it in half. So I'm just going to get a little bit of lemon zest to add lots of freshness in this little pouch. So that's one thing lemons are great for. They're really simple, really fresh, and they cut through fattiness, cut through butter, which is what we had in here, and just have a nice contrast to the fish. Okay, so there's our zest. Now, just a little bit of juice. Hold it right side up so you don't get the seeds in there. Just gonna squeeze just a little bit of lemon juice in there. That's great. So we already have tons of flavors, tons of colors. We want to come in close here. With the green from the leeks, the red bell peppers, the fish is its own beautiful pinkish white color. Then the butter has the parsley, green, the pink shallots, and there's so much flavor in here. The butter has its own flavor, the fish has its great natural flavor, the leeks and the peppers, great vegetables, and some freshness from the lemons also. So now, here comes the cool part. I'm just going to fold over our parchment paper here. This part can be a little tricky depending on if you have the right size paper. So you want to make sure you give yourself enough room in the size paper you cut. I think I did here. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start at the top. We're just going to fold over the edges here. Just want to come in really closely to see what I'm doing. Just going to make sure the edges meet, so then I can just fold, move along the paper here, a little package. And if you run into some trouble, don't worry. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to taste perfect. Alright. As good as it's going to get. So if you see that, it's just a really cute little package here. And it's going to go in the oven, and it's going to steam. Everything in there is going to steam, and the fish is going to get nice and moist, the butter's going to get all melty, the flavors are all there. So, I have a baking pan here, kind of hot. So I'm just going to go ahead and lay my package on. It's going to go in the oven at 450 degrees. So it's not going to cook for very long, because we're going to have the oven up pretty high. This takes about 15 minutes, so we have the oven on 450 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and put my pouch in the oven. 15 minutes later, I'm going to take it out and unveil my little Christmas package.